message is that people often throw around the idea of family offices, multi-family offices, and I see a lot of people in the industry, they're sort of chasing this concept of a family office, when in reality we see from today's many hours that it's so convoluted and it has so much involved in it: family relationships, finances, litigation, becoming older, as Josh Rubenstein said, lifetime contests of wills. So to say, oh, I must meet a family office, I think is to really underestimate the whole concept, the whole system, and I feel it needs a wider thought process. We see it breaking into private investment offices, but maybe it'll break into other areas as well.
So 71% of family offices are engaged in philanthropy. In Asia, that's over 86%. But only 41% have a strategy in place for that philanthropic activity. So I guess my key message today is for family offices to think through how best to plan, implement, and engage the family when it comes to philanthropy.
One of my key messages is choose your tax advisor, advisors, legal advisors very carefully. Don't think short term, think long term. Choose an advisor you're happy with, build a relationship, and a long-term advisor. Take care with tax, it's ever changing, changing legislation, compliance, etc. So you need to have somebody on board who can keep you well advised.
I think what I'm learning, which very much echoes my own belief, is the importance of engaging with professional advisors and for the families themselves to have enduring conversations about what they want to achieve.
My key message from today is to think really hard about succession planning for families and family offices. It's something that does require a lot of time and effort across the different parts of that relationship. There's the senior generation of the family, the next generation of the family, and the team running the family office.
I think what I've learned is the importance of values. Ellie from Action for Children said she had no great experience with family offices, but then said the importance of values, and I think that nailed it.
I think it should be education, educating generations, because a family office is not only a place where you invest money. You have plenty of banks, investment managers, consultants that can contribute to this effort. But it is also, in my view, an exercise in education whereby slowly a family can, probably an industrial family or financial family, can probably realize that they can be a force for good, and I would encourage them strongly to be that, and not only to be a force for good, but to be a force for good for all generations in the family. Use their company, use their activity to realize a new form of capitalism called stakeholder rather than shareholder capitalism.
The key message today is to share the experiences of what we do for our clients with each other, and pick up on stories. Stories because it's so good, because you can remember the stories. It's very good for professionals to meet and to share what they do so that they can provide a wider service for their clients, but also to network at a very interesting gatherings like today, where they can. Everybody here was engaged with what was going on the panel. There was no one picking up on their laptop or their mobile phones. It was thoroughly engaging because it was very real. They were dealing with real families, and that message has to get across to a wider audience.
The key message from today is that we have two new constants: change and controversy. So in working with family offices, it's important to assume that everything you do will need to change at some point, so what you do should not be permanent. And it's important to bear in mind that everything you do will be looked at by someone at some point with a view towards controversy. So assume it will be contested, and you'll be much better prepared.
I think if I was to give a key message, I would like to tell the audience that when they're thinking about the risks of their family, they need to really think about the long-term risks that are out there and try and diversify and mitigate against them. So I think not really concentrating on portfolios, but rather on themselves. They should be thinking about the next generation, about how they're educated, what they're thinking about, and they should be thinking about their operating business and how well it's being run and where the leadership is. And then I think from a personal perspective, they need to be thinking about some of these big macro risks around climate change and ESG, making sure that they're in the right place for that.